The question today is this: do you abide in the Word of God, and does the Word of God abide in you? You see, if you're going to follow Jesus, you've got to learn His words so that you can live His words, so that you can share His words. The word disciple comes from the idea of a rabbi having students learning his words so that they could become teachers. And as they became teachers themselves, they had something to teach. What we're supposed to teach are His words. When we make disciples, we're supposed to teach our disciples to obey everything Jesus commanded. That means we need to be abiding in His words. We need to abide in the Word of God, but especially the words of Jesus. Jesus said in John chapter 8, verse 31, He says, Then Jesus said to those Jews who believed Him, If you abide in my word, you are my disciples indeed, and you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. He says a mark of a disciple is to abide in the Word, and a benefit is knowing the truth, experiencing the truth, so that you can experience freedom. In fact, every part of your life where you're not experiencing truth, you are experiencing conflict. You are experiencing bondage. Only in those areas of life where you experience truth do you experience true freedom. Abiding in the Word, living in the Word, remaining in the Word. What's that mean? Well, in one sense, our side of it is we feed on the Word of God. Think about what the Word of God is. It provides us with spiritual milk. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2. It provides us with spiritual food and meat, solid meat to grow on. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12 and 14. It's our daily bread. Matthew chapter 4 and verse 4. The words of Jesus, He said, they are spirit and life. Hebrews chapter 4, we're told that the Word of God is living and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword. It cuts us to the very core of our being, discerning between the thoughts and intents of our hearts. It's a spiritual sword that we can use in spiritual warfare for the sake of others. John chapter 15, Jesus said these words. He said, If you abide in me and my words abide in you, you'll ask what you desire and it will be done for you. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit, so you will be my disciples. When we abide in the Word, that marks us as His disciple. When we abide in the Word, He says God's going to answer our prayers because our prayers are going to be lining up with the will of God. It's going to glorify the Father, and we're going to produce spiritual fruit. Are you producing spiritual fruit? Maybe it's because you're not in the Word of God. You say, well, daily, what do I do to abide in the Word of God? You read it. Read it every day. Think about it. Think about what you're reading. Think about it all day long. Think about it throughout the day. Think about, how can I apply this? How can I share it? Pray it back to God. One great way to take the Word from your head to your heart is just turn it into a prayer, a praise, a petition, a confession, a thanksgiving, an intercession. And then make sure you live it out. You know, the goal is that you would live everything Jesus taught. Well, you're not going to do that if you don't know what He taught. And the only way you'll know what He taught is if you abide in His Word. Are you abiding in the words of Jesus?